The only EU leader who had not visited Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion, Viktor Orban finally arrived in Kyiv. This is also his first visit to Ukraine since 2012. The visit of the most pro-Russian politician in the European Union was highly appreciated by the United States of America.
We welcome Prime Minister Orban's trip to Kyiv to engage Ukraine's leadership. Progress. David Pressman, United States Ambassador to Hungary, on X social network.
Orban's arrival in Kyiv is given additional significance by the fact that on July 1st, Hungary began its 6-month presidency of the Council of the European Union, and although according to experts the Hungarian Prime Minister represented exclusively his own interest in the Ukrainian capital, relations between Kyiv and Budapest require such visits.
Orban seeks on the one hand to demonstrate his constructiveness, on the other hand not to overshadow his presidency with loud scandals, and at the same time he reserves the right to open and close each section of the negotiations, to bargain again with the EU, with European leaders for Hungary's access to EU funds, for concessions to Hungary despite violations of human rights and democratic freedoms in Hungary. Orban seems to be making a gesture that he will support Ukraine, but I would not rush to believe in this gesture.
At the end of the bilateral meetings, Omen and Zelenskyy announced the first agreements and results. The Hungarian Prime Minister promised that he would strive to help Kyiv during his presidency of the EU Council. The opening of the first Ukrainian school for immigrants from Ukraine in Hungary was announced too. The leaders also said that states would work on a global cooperation agreement.
In general, the content of our dialogue on all today's issues can become the basis for a future bilateral document between our states, which will regulate our own relations, and will be based on a mirror approach in relations between Ukraine and Hungary, which will allow our peoples to enjoy all the benefits of unity in Europe. We want to improve relations between our countries. We wish to sign a cooperation agreement with Ukraine, similar to the agreements that we have with our other neighboring countries. We will participate in the modernization of the Ukrainian economy according to our capabilities.
There was also a final pro-Russian note from Viktor Orban. He stated that he appreciates the peace initiatives of President Zelenskyy but proposed to speed up the start of peace negotiations by establishing a ceasefire with Russia.
I asked the President of Ukraine, Orban and Zelenskyy, to consider whether we could change the order and speed up peace negotiations by first concluding a ceasefire agreement.
This plan contradicts the current position of Ukraine. The Kremlin also previously stated that even in the event of negotiations, Russia would not cease fire. However, the head of the Hungarian government emphasized that he did not insist on his proposal and accepted Ukraine's arguments.
Orban sees himself as a mediator, sees himself as a person ready to represent the interests of Putin, Xi Jinping and Donald Trump in the negotiation process. And this is natural, since the ceasefire is one of the key points of the Chinese plan and one of the key demands of the Russian Federation, although Russia has larger appetites and is even an element of the plan of Donald Trump's advisors. At the very least, Orban simply had to say this in Kyiv, otherwise none of these players would take him seriously.
Viktor Orban has long been an ardent opponent of Ukraine. He opposed financial assistance to Kyiv, prevented the start of official negotiations on Ukraine's accession to the EU. However, now, according to experts, he is ready to see compromises, despite personal disagreement with the EU policy in the context of supporting Kyiv. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.